What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mo here for our classic review. Today, I'm going to be talking about thoughts on. Well, I've been wanting to talk about this one for a while, but I keep forgetting. It's another stop motion collection of shorts directed by a certain man, which I think he inspired many other filmmakers to follow the steps from. Let's see. From Gremlins to Gumby. A certain cartoon called Puppetoons, created by George Powell, which you recall on my later review of Woody Woodpecker, he was friends with the creator of Woody Woodpecker, Walter Lantz. But before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, you really want to know the story about this one? Because, oh boy, it's quite interesting. It'll make you think, like, I gotta check this out. Fun fact, there are some shorts of those on YouTube. Trust me, they're very hard to find. But yeah, Puppetoons was a series of animated puppet films made in Europe back in the 1930s, and then in the US in the 1940s by filmmaker George Powell. They were made using replacement animation, using a series of different hand-carved wooden puppets, or puppet heads or limbs for each frame in which the puppet moves or change expression. Rather than moving a single puppet, as is the case with most stop-motion puppet animation, they were practically made from 1932 and 1948, both in Europe and the US. And this is quite interesting because we've seen stop motion before. They show most stop motion made like a type of flexible latex. Some of them made 3D printed. Aardman using 3D print and plasticine. But George Powell managed to make these hand carved wood. Dude. That is some commitment right there. And this is from the 30s and 40s. I ain't seen one of these shorts. It's like, damn. If these were made today, this would be pretty damn good. And remember, these are made of wood. Hand-carved wood. Of different sizes, literally. If you're interested, there's a documentary called The Fantastic World of George Powell, which is on YouTube on the Puppetoon channel. I'll leave a link down below so you're curious to see more about this. I recommend it. It's actually pretty good. A good watch. But yeah. And talk about the history because it's quite interesting. The Puppetoons series of animated puppet films were made in Europe in the 1930s and in the US in the 1940s, which series began with George Powell made an advertising film using dancing cigarettes in 1932, which led to a series of theatrical advertising shorts for Philips Radio in the Netherlands. This was followed by a series of Horlicks malted milk in England. These shorts have an Art Deco design, often reducing characters to simple geometric shape. George Powell arrived in the US in 1940 due to the war in Europe, because he had his puppet studio in Holland, but fled. He and his wife, including the rest of his team, fled due to the war due to the Nazis' invasion in Europe. He he first went to England, then to the US. Powell arrived in the US in 1940 and produced more than 40 Puppetoons for Paramount Pictures between 1941 and 1948. 7 Puppetoons received an Academy Award nomination, including Rhythm in the Ranks. That was in 1941. Tulips Shall Grow, 1942. Fun fact, this was the first one I seen. And funny fact, I never knew. Actually, this was deja vu for me because I seen this when I was little. You know, one of those DVDs, like contain cartoons. mostly mixed. You got cartoons that never would be released. You got like mixed cartoons with Casper, Looney Tunes, everything, Popeye. Those ones, yeah. This was included, but it had a different logo because I'll explain why the way because it was originally a war propaganda representing George Pal took this more seriously because this is the represents of the invasion of Holland. The two shall go because the villains called the screw nuts, screwballs. Fuck. They're like metal clankers representing the Nazis. Well, you have two love interests, like dressed in their Dutch outfits until they're invaded by the screwballs, which are bolts, nuts and bolts, actually, representing the Nazis invading Holland, which is in color. And I've seen the restored version, which is actually damn, because the first one I seen, the original, was not restored, a bit pinkish. And the Paramount logo is missing because remember, but I'll explain for that reason. We also have the 500 hats of Bartholomew Cubans from 1943, and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street, 1944. Jasper and the Beanstalk, which I think that is a lost short from 1945. Fun fact about Jasper, he's a caricature black African American boy. Which today's standards will be, well, collar pulling racism. And here's the thing. In a documentary I was watching, one of the artists who were working with George Pal mentioned that even George Pal didn't like Jasper because of the way he looks too racially, the features like big lips that was like of the back in those days. I see one of them, and I think I only seen two. One called Jasper in a Jam and Jasper in the Haunted House, and actually it's actually pretty funny. No, the style actually, including the scene when he goes to the haunted house, tried to bring gooseberry pie, but he was tricked by Professor Crow, or the Scarecrow, who's usually the one who was getting Jasper into trouble. Try to take that piece of pie, along with his little black bird friend, until a ghost actually steals the damn pie right in front of them. That's actually two versions. Yeah, the one that features the original Paramount inside a pie tin, while the other one, which is they cut it out because they don't want to get screwed by Paramount after they sell when Paramount's shorts were sold to television distributors at the time. But continuing, we also have another one based on the folk legend of John Henry, called John Henry and the Inky Poo. To give you a clue, Inky Poo, that's the steam engine that, the one that John Henry beat in that famous race that he lost his life after beating the machine that tried to take their jobs. Well, in real life, the engine has no name, so they give him the name Inky Poo. Which actually, compared to Jasper, this was actually quite good. The animation style, plus the way that described the legend of John Henry, like he was born on a stormy night, and he was not born as a baby. He was born as a full-grown man with six-pack. Damn. Oh boy. It was actually released in 1946, and Tubby the Tuba in 1947, which is a Afro-Romantic tuba who's not happy because he never gets his own piece while in an orchestra full of instruments because a tuba never has his own solo piece. So he meets a frog in a pond, explains that he gives him a lesson, which of course is kind of like heartwarming actually. The series ended due to the rise in production costs, which had increased from $18,000 per short in 1939, which is the equivalent of almost $400 grand in this year, to almost in the US like $50,000 following the war, which is equivalent of 700,000 in this year. Which of course, Paramount Pictures, George Powell's distributor, objected to the cost. Per their suggestion, Powell went to produce sequence for films. In 1956, the Puppetoons, as well as most of Paramount's shorts, were sold to television distributors UM&M, TV Corporation, National Telefilm Associates, bought out UM. No, National Telefilm Associates bought out UM&M and continued to syndicate them in the 50s and the 60s as Madcap Models. Yeah, they were named Puppetoons as Madcap Models. This is the one I was talking about about the cartoons the one I saw, the Tulip Show Rise. That was the original one, including with Jasper in the House. Including there's two versions, one with the Paramount logo and this one, the UM logo. Powell also used Puppetoon name and the general Puppetoon technique for miniature puppet characters. Some of his live-action feature films, including The Great Rupert from 1949, Tom Thumb 1958, and The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm in 1963. In these films, the individual wooden figures were billed as the Puppetoons. Here's the thing about the techniques. Puppetoon films use replacement animations with puppets using the series of different hand-carved wooden puppets or puppet heads or limbs for each frame in which the puppets move or change expression. Rather than moving a single puppet, a typical Puppetoon required 9,000 individual carved and machined wooden figures or parts. Jesus fuck! 9,000 individual carved wooden figures. Damn! Today you'll have only a few hundred or 300, but 9,000? And remember, folks, this is wooden figurines. Hand carved. Not like now you just 3D print and you just put piece by piece and you have your own puppet with only one figure, that's it. Or like Chicken Run, you have Chicken Run you have the smaller ones for the humans, you have the big ones when you're with the characters. Yeah. But this is different. This is another level right there. And remember, these are wood carvers, so these guys know what they're doing. Damn. The Puppetoon animation is a type of replacement animation, which is itself a type of stop motion animation. The puppets are rigged and static piece. Each is typically used in a single frame and then switch with a separate near duplicate puppet for the next frame. Thus, Puppetoon animation requires many separate figures and is thus more analogous in a certain sense to cell animation than is traditional stop motion. The characters are created from scratch for each frame, though in a cell animation, the creation process is simpler since the characters are drawn and painted, not sculpted. Well, folks, now we're going to talk about Jasper. Well, here's why. Some controversies exist in modern times, as the black character Jasper, star of several Puppetoons in the 1940s, is considered a stereotype today. The Jasper series of shorts relied on a small, consistent cast. The titular character was a playful Pickaninny, his mother a protective Mammy, Professor Scarecrow being a black scam artist. Yeah, remember the Scarecrow? He's called Professor Crow or the Scarecrow. A black bird serving as his fast-talking partner in crime. Powell described Jasper as the Huckleberry Finn of American folklore. Already in 1946, an article of the Hollywood Quarterly, protested that the Jasper shorts presented a razor taunting, a ghost hunted, chicken stealing concept of the Black American in 19. Well, technically, actually, it's not actually Black American. I actually had to make it more safe because you know what it actually said? American Negro. And this was actually, I didn't say that. It was said here in the article of Hollywood Quarterly in 1946. So, yeah. I'm playing it safe here. In 1947, the article Ebony pointed out that George Powell was a European and not raised on racial prejudice. To him, there is nothing abusive about a Negro boy who likes to eat watermelon or gets scared when he goes out past a haunted house. The article, though, pointed that the script's depiction touched on the stereotypes of the Negroes being childish, eating nothing but molasses and watermelons, and being afraid of their own shadow. Jasper's full name is Jasper Jefferson Lincoln Washington Hawkins. At one point, Jasper's popularity was on par with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. What? Damn. If I recall correctly, there was one short of Jasper when him and the Scarecrow were hunting. Guess who they encounter with? Bugs Bunny. And the Scarecrow's like, well, what do you know? Bugs Bunny. I'm in the wrong cartoon. I think it was a gag with Warner Brothers, and actually that was Mel Blanc making a cameo. Yeah. There's also a legacy and preservation in 1987. Film producer, director, archivist Arnold Leibovitz, a friend of George Powell, collected several Puppetoons and released them theatrically to one video as the Puppetoon movie, which I actually seen it. It's actually pretty good. It's hosted by Gumby. I forgot the name of his friend, including a T-Rex as well from another stop motion film, which is reintroducing them to the contemporary audience. A feature-length documentary on the life and films of George Powell followed in 2020. The Puppetoon Movie Volume 2 was released on Blu-ray and DVD, featuring 17 shorts not included on any of the Puppetoon movie releases, and The Ship of the Ether. The Academy Film Archive preserved several of the Puppetoons in 2009, including Jasper and the Beanstalk, which, it's not a lost film. Okay. John Henry and the Inky Pooh, and Rhythm in the Ranks. And here we have the filmography. Talk about the filmography. Here we have the shorts released in Europe. Here's one from 1932 until 1940. In 1932, we have Tale of the Gloomy King and Midnight. 1934, Radio Valve Revolution and Ship of the Ever. 1935, The Magic Atlas, World's Greatest Show in Lamplight Land. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, 1936, Ether Symphony, Charlie's World Cruise, and On Parade, 1937, What Ho She Bumps, the Reddings Brigade, aka Rescue Brigade, Phil's Broadcast of 1938, which I seen this. This isn't the Puppetoon movie, which, oh boy, you have a stereotype in the later half. 1938, you have South Sea Sweethearts, The Ballad of the Red Radio Valve, Sky Pirates, and How an Advertising Poster Came About. 1939, Aladdin the Magic Lamp, The Sleeping Beauty, Love on the Range, Philip's Cavalcade, aka Cavalcade of Music, which is actually pretty interesting. You got different versions of music, which I didn't know is from Europe, also from the US. And 1940 with Friend in Need, The Good Bear and the Bad Bear, The Old Woman Who Lived in a Shoe. Now you have the American shorts. In 1940, we have Western Days, Dipsy Gypsy. You got 1941 with Hula Boola, The Gay 90s, Rhythm in the Ranks, The Sky Princess, 1942, Jasper and the Watermelon, Mr. Strauss Takes a Walk, Tulips Shall Grow, Jasper and the Haunted House, 1943, Jasper and the Choo Choo, Bravo, Mr. Strauss, The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubans, Jasper's Music Lesson, The Truck That Flew, The Little Broadcast, Jasper Goes Fishing, Goodnight Rusty, 1944, Package for Jasper, A Hatful of Dreams, Say Ah Jasper, Jasper Goes Hunting. I think that's the one that features Bugs Bunny. And To Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, Jasper's Paradise, Two Gun Rusty, 1945, Jasper Booby Traps, Hot Lips Jasper, Jasper Tell, Jasper Minstrels, Jasper Close Shave, Jasper and the Beanstalk, My Man Jasper. Wow, 1945 was the year of the Jasper, wasn't it? 1946, Jasper's Derby, Jasper and the Jam, which is featured in the Puppetoon movie. Oleo for Jasper, Together in the Weather, John Henry and the Inky Poo, Wilbur the Lion, 1947, Shoeshine Jasper, Date with Duke, featuring Duke Ellington, Raspity in the Wood, featuring Woody Herman, Tubby the Tuba, Romeo and Julie Cat, shown in the film Variety Girl, 1948, Sweet Pacific, 1971, The Toolbox, broadcast on The Curiosity Shop on September 2nd, 1971. And the Australian one as well, only one, 1962, Wham Biggie. And there were canceled projects as well. One was actually, remember about John Henry? He was not the only one. There were others, but they canceled it. Those were Casey Jones, Davy Crockett, Gulliver's Travels, Johnny Appleseed, Sinbad, and Three Little Princesses. Damn. That'll be pretty interesting. So yeah, folks. And those are my thoughts on the Puppetoons, which, remember, this inspired many other creators to do a thing like Gumby. I think Steven Spielberg as well. Because in the Puppetoon movie, in the ending credit, you see all these other characters that were inspired by the Puppetoons. And the Sky Rafters, there's a fucking gremlin from the movie Gremlin. So it had a spiritual inspiration from that as well. And you have a lot, including there's a stop motion of the Pillsbury Doughboy. I think that was inspired by that as well. But yeah, folks, but let me know what you think of the Puppetoons. If you're curious, just type it on YouTube and you see one of the shorts. Hey, just watch it, and go to the Puppetoon YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down below, including the documentary. So if you're curious and want to learn more, there you go. But let me know what you think about. And also, after you finish watching those, come back here and tell me what was your favorite short, and tell me all about it on the comments down below. And if you like the video, remember to hit the bell, like this video, and remember our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers or at least 500k, because May of this year is our 11th anniversary, so it's a big deal. Let's make this happen. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody. Peace out.